Hello there. Check out this study about surgeons. So, did you know that surgeons have a high rate of suicide? Yeah. We're over here looking at a study from 2024. Actually, an article, excuse me, but this article cites studies about this. Let me scroll down and show you something specifically that I found. So, alcoholism and drug dependencies, as we see right here, this is what's happening to many of the surgeons out there. So, dog culture is a big contributor to the poor quality of life, suicide rates, lack of job satisfaction for surgeons. I kind of came across this by accident because I was looking up this same thesis with dog groomers and veterinarians and other dog servicing industries, and they have a high rate of lots of problems, all because of dogs. So, um, this is what our surgeons are supposed to look like. They they want the job because they really want to see their fellow humans recover from surgery, get back out there and do sports and play in the park with their kids and do skiing, mountain biking, rock climbing, all of the normal fun human activities where you might need an orthopedic surgeon or a bone graft or being stitched back together. But more and more, these surgeons are having to deal with dog attacks. So let's look at some of that. Surgeries from dog bites can be common. They are common, more and more common every freaking day. And there's so many different sources that you can look at to understand this. For example, lawsuits. And for another example, see this video right here? There are tons and tons of these videos on how to do surgery after a dog bite. So, I mean, you can see this right here: dog bites, a hand surgeon's perspective, National Institute of Health, dog bite wounds, dilemma. So these are happening all the time. So that means these surgeons are witnessing this. They're witnessing all this stuff and then they don't get to talk about it. So the most common dog bite surgery, that's facial reconstructive surgery. The last reported number was 27,000 out of 4.5 million emergency room visits. But there has to be more than that because those numbers haven't been updated and attacks on children are increasing at a geometric rate in some areas of our country. And again, like I mentioned, there are plenty of studies and write ups about handling cosmetic surgery after dog bites. And it's not just the 27,000, it's like this one right here. It says restoring your appearance. You got to go back and get microdermabrasions, scar management, hair removal. Like, see this person right here? They have part of their scalp was pulled down to their nose, so they have hair on their nose and they look, I mean, they don't look right, and they have to go back and get multiple surgeries and keep taking antibiotics and antidepressants. So it's not just like a simple thing. You get your surgery and then you recover and go adopt more dogs. Yeah, let's go to our next little look up here. Another thing about this is amputation. Dog bites can lead to amputation because of the sepsis. There's a bacteria, I'll put a link in the description, that causes many people to lose their limbs. A big part of this is that the surgeons witness all of this stuff. And probably a lot of the surgeons, they didn't join up their job because they wanted to see people shredded up by dogs. Like, I can't wait to go into work today and see another woman torn up by a pit bull. Yay, more money in my account. I don't think most of these surgeons joined up for that. They joined up because they were interested in human activities that they could repair. Getting automotive mechanics back out there to work. Getting veterans that had shoulder surgery back out there able to skip rocks at the lake and stuff like that. Like, I've had 3 shoulder surgeries on me, and the surgeons, when I go back and tell them I'm doing okay with my scars, they're like, yeah, that's awesome. So, they didn't join up their profession to see people get amputations from freaking dogs. And then they're going to go home and they can't talk about it. For example, many of them sign non-disclosure agreements. So if you stitched up a bunch of people from dog bites, and you've seen all the blood and you've seen the pain and suffering in the eyes of the parents, then you go home and you can't talk about it. You see all these people on Facebook throwing up little pictures of pit bulls in front of kids and talking about how great their pit bull is. Or maybe you're a surgeon and your wife or husband is like, honey, let's get a pup or doggo. And you're just like, oh, I just stitched another kid's face back together for a freaking German Shepherd or Rottweiler bite. Or they attempted to do surgery on a kid and sadly the kid died right there in the hospital. That happens too. And they go out in society and they have to suppress all of this nasty stuff that they see. Yeah, all because of dogs. So going back to our little article that I have for you guys here, why do you think they have all this drug dependence, including alcoholism? And a lot of them use speed type drugs so that they can keep working to shut their brain off because they have to keep making money. Yeah, I mean, look at some of this stuff, guys. Depression, suicidal ideation, and all of this stress that they're dealing with as a surgeon. When they go back home and they need to talk to somebody and vent, if it's like a human, they probably have a better likelihood of being able to talk about it. Like if they fix somebody's wrist and that person used to love to go on their kayak, they can get home and say, yeah, I had a super successful surgery and Mr. Smith is heading back out to the lake in 4 to 6 weeks. But then you patch up a bunch of dog bites and you go out into society and you try to talk to people about it like, hey, I repaired another freaking artery on a grandma because of a pit bull. Everybody's going to look at you and be like, psh, whatever, you're a dog hater. My pit bull didn't do it, so, yeah. And that's a big thing about this dog culture. Even if you're not a surgeon, if you just notice this stuff and talk about it in a social setting, you will be treated like an outcast. Yeah, it's terrible. And last but not least, orthopedic surgeons are a part of this as well. Um, there's so many statistics and interviews about this. 86,000 Americans, and notice they put cats in here, but it's like 90% dogs that are causing this. You trip over a Great Dane and you break your leg or you bust a rib or worse. And you trip over a cat, it's like, well, okay, you knocked a pillow over. It's crazy how they always got to throw cats in here. But as you can see, there's plenty of information you can read up about this. It's a very expensive toll on these people. Yeah. Fractures and falls from tripping over your dog. And I know that these surgeries don't fit the same description like I was saying earlier with all like the blood and guts. But still, if you're one of these orthopedic surgeons and you're just like you used to be a skier and you move to a skiing town and you're just like, you know what, I'm going to give back to my skiing community and get some of these ankles repaired and physical therapies going. Yeah. And then more and more people are coming into your orthopedic shop and you're thinking like you're going to be helping the human community. And no, you're stitching people up after they've tripped over their dogs. Especially senior citizens too. Senior citizens are a huge part of this. But yeah, there you go. This whole thing right here, this terrible stuff that's happened that's going on with these surgeons. Dog ownership is a huge part of it. Dog culture is a huge part of it. So that's just another thing that's affecting our society from dog ownership. See you guys later.